Today on the channel, we have a bloody good time with the latest and greatest from Zombie Sailor Toys and the Heels and Faces line with a bloody Abdullah the Butcher and a bloody Nature Boy Ric Flair.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Zombie Sailor Toys, Heels and Faces unboxing and review. And today we got the bloodiest of the bloody, two of the all-time great performers, especially bleeding all over the ring. We got the Nature Boy Ric Flair, and we've got Abdullah the Butcher. But for all your wrestling figure needs that are not Zombie Sailor Toys, make sure you hit up Ringside Collectibles. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. Got to get a deal out there. And what can you say about Abdullah the Butcher? What can you say about the Nature Boy Ric Flair? Two favorite performers of mine as a kid. Flair always going to be on my Mount Rushmore, and I guess Abdullah the Butcher, you could say he's on the Mount Rushmore of crazy wrestlers, bloody wrestlers as well. Never met a bloody match he didn't like, Abdullah. And I remember the first time I think I ever saw Abdullah the Butcher was probably as a little kid watching WCW when he got in the electric chair. Remember around that time frame. But I'll never forget, he had like almost like a blanket over his head, all black. And I'm like, I just never seen a human being that looked like Abdullah the Butcher. Did not understand all the cuts and scars in his head until he started bleeding, of course. And then I was like, wow, this guy committing to the persona if there ever was one. There was a great Dark Side of the Ring episode on him once upon a time. And apparently Abdullah the Butcher, of course, working with Diamond Dallas Page on some DDP yoga at like 84 years old. Always wanted to go to his restaurant, Abdullah the Butcher's House of Ribs. Always wanted to go there. Never got to Atlanta, never got a chance to go there. I don't even think that restaurant's open anymore. But Abby is just an all-time performer, a favorite of mine, just amazing. Seeing stuff he did in Japan was just absolutely awesome. Seeing him against Hogan, of course, Bruiser Brody over there, Stan Hansen, Baba, all those guys, a lot of cool stuff. Of course, his time all over. He was a lot like Andre the Giant, just kind of making towns, going all over the place. Puerto Rico bloodbaths against Carlos Colon as well. Could go on and on about Abdullah the Butcher, but always enjoyed him as a performer. Obviously a little bit limited, but less limited in other ways. Of course, knows a way around a fork as well. And Ric Flair, what can you say about Ric Flair? It's all been said before, but we'll get into that one here in a little bit. But we're going Abby first. That's where we're going to go. We're going to start with Abdullah the Butcher. Looking amazing right here. Of course, Abdullah looking great in the figure department. Beautiful glamour shot. Got the blood going on. Heels and Faces. Purple card series is what we have doing right here. We did unbox Bad News Brown, Mike Awesome, and Tajiri in a separate video. Check that one out if you did miss it. Love what's going on right here as well. On the back, we got Abby, we got the file card, we got the cross sell, we got the jibber, we got the jabber, we got the Zombie Sailor point. Where are those points going? What are we going to do with those points? Who knows? Height 6 foot tall, 360 pounds, from the Sudan. And still to this day, I'm like, I don't ever want to go to the Sudan. It's a dangerous place. They got a bunch of Abdullah the Butchers running around the Sudan. Anybody watching from the Sudan? Is it beautiful this time of year? Let me know, because I can't say that it's beautiful at this time of year because I just don't know. I'm not used to the weather and patterns of the Sudan, but shout it out to the Sudanians watching this. How about that? In case his darting eyes and heavily scarred forehead were not enough indication, this bloodthirsty madman is not to be taken lightly. Uses his trusty fork to turn opponents into his own personal carving station. He also would take that same fork to favorite of the channel, Harlan Sanders, of course, Colonel Sanders and KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. He'd dip that in the mashed potatoes. He'd go from somebody's head to some mashed potatoes and gravy into the slaw. He'd even butter his biscuit with his fork. He would do it. He would do it all. Abby, just a renaissance man at the end of the day. Shout out to Harlan Sanders. Shout out to KFC. KFC should support this channel. That's what they should do. I'd wear a KFC shirt. I'd wear a Colonel Sanders outfit every single day if I could. Known for his brutal brawls against bitter rival Bruiser Brody, which is pretty fun, as we did get a Zombie Sailor Bruiser Brody. We'll have that in the glamour shots as well. Wouldn't be shocked to see another Abdullah the Butcher. You change the tight color, the boot color, maybe no blood this time. I could see them doing that in the future. We'll see what happens there. But Abby looking very good, and I love the fork accessory. Should shout this out too, of course. We did get the Abdullah the Butcher Ron Rudat sketch here. We see these on the back of the package. Same thing with Ric Flair. If you pre-ordered these, you did get these part of your package there. And then, of course, we got a bunch of these going on. We talked about them in the last video, but we did get these. One that is very interesting. I guess I could grab that, or maybe I can't grab it. Maybe. Oh, there it is right there. We did see recently the Pinnacle Abdullah the Butcher going up for pre-order March 27th. A must-have figure. Can't wait to see how this one scales and compares to some of the other figures down the line. But enough jibber jabber. Let's get down to Abdullah the Butcher here. Mr. Abdullah the Butcher, as he signs his name right there. Can I get it off the card without destroying the card? Of course not. That's the way it goes. That's the way the old cookie crumbles, as they say. See you later. See you later. Oh, okay. I was going to say, did I throw the fork? I didn't. It came out. So we got the fork. I guess we'll start there. We got a nice fork accessory here. Very gummy fork accessory. It's all taped up on the end like Abby used to do as well. Looking very good, though. Obviously, accessory you got to have with Abdullah the Butcher. But now, getting down to Abdullah the Butcher, and man, just absolutely wild. We do know we're going to get re-releases, or what would you call it? Like I guess not a variant when it's slipping my mind here, but you are going to get the most out of your molds. There it is. As they are going to, and when I say they, Heels and Faces Zombie Sailor, are going to make the Headhunters tag team, who just look like Abdullah the Butcher's kids or something. It was a wild scene. Two guys that look like Abdullah the Butcher, but you are going to get the most out of the molds. Get those guys in the line. Makes a lot of sense, I do think. But Zombie doing a really good job with this Abby, looking good with all the blood all over the face. I really like that. The scars are sculpted in there. The one thing about the blood is it kind of masks the scars so you can't see it. I did like, it was once upon a time those bloody legend figures from the OSFT. Was it OS? No, it was Figures Toy Company. They had an Abdullah the Butcher once upon a time. I might even have that in my collection. If I can find that, if I do have that, I will compare it to this one. Of course, we got an Abdullah the Butcher in the Classic Superstars once upon a time. He had a Popey back in the day as well. So Abby's had a figure or two, but I'm very excited for this one. Very excited for the upcoming Pinnacle edition there. But looking good in the face department. He looks at those crazy eyes, of course. 2 eyes, a nose, and ears. 2 ears, that is, and a mouth looking like Abdullah the Butcher. Would have liked to seen a little bit of blood down into the chest, but it is what it is. He's got those big old flaps going on over there. It's just a wild look. I don't know how you get to that point. How do you get to this point? I don't know. I guess it's a lot of ribs and fried chicken at his restaurant. It'll get you just like this, I guess, if you're looking for this body style. And I've heard the ladies love this body style. I don't know. Somebody fact check that. Todd McFarlane, is that true? You've heard that too? You think the ladies say you're too skinny, they'd rather have an Abdullah the Butcher type? Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. But you got Abby going on here, looking very good. Taekwondo right down here at the bottom. It does say a butcher. He is a butcher, that is for sure. Wrapped up, taped up hands and fingers, of course. Got those blades hidden away in there, as we know. Big old red trunks, tights down here, really. You do get the boots here. Very cool with the curl. Something about that curl on the end of the boots just make it feel more devious. I don't know. Iron Sheik had it, but when I think of it as Abdullah the Butcher. A lot of people think Sheik first. Not me. I go to Abby first. It just depends where you, I guess, came into and resonated. And I remember Sheik having those as a kid, but it never really did anything to me until Abdullah the Butcher just made it feel more sinister. And I don't know why that is exactly, but it is. Head back and forth, side to side, arms all the way around, waist articulation, and that's going to be all she wrote right there for old Abdullah. Of course, the fork going to fit in the hand. Oh, yeah, we're ready to sit down for a plate of ribs. That's what we're ready to sit down. And who eats ribs with a fork? This guy. He's a crazy madman. That's right. Also fits on a Ringside collectible stand. Use discount code Kyle. Save 10% at Ringside. But Abdullah the Butcher in the house. I am here for this. Sign me up for old Abby right there. But we're not done. We got the bloody Ric Flair. It's the bloody edition here. Like I said, I could see a non-bloody version of this in the future. And we do know there's a non-bloody of this one in the blue tights, blue trunks, Ric Flair coming. Gotta get the most out of your molds. Gotta get the most out of the blood. But I do like the bloody version of Ric Flair here. Once again, this goes to the time-honored toy tradition that a lot of people want the regular Ric Flair. They don't want the bloody version of Ric Flair. But they come out with the bloody one. Everybody's like, well, I need a Ric Flair zombie. I better get it. I didn't want the bloody necessarily, but I'm going to get it because they might not make any more. And then, bam, once this is in the hands, they announce the blue one saying, oh, you got me again. I'm going to get the blue one. That's the way it goes. People have told me that's not the way it goes. It definitely goes that way. You lead with one that maybe not as popular to get people to buy that one because, oh, I got to have the Ric Flair. And then you come back at him with the hot one that everybody wanted from the get-go. Him in his iconic blue. Just the way it works. Just the way it works. And I believe, isn't this him from WrestleMania against Macho Man, I guess you could say, on this one here. But looking good, it is Ric Flair, a guy that loved to bleed back in the day. Obviously, that blonde hair made it even more special. I remember as a little kid, I had a poster of Ric Flair. I want to say it was against Sting, but his hair caked in blood, just caked in blood. One of those posters from like a PWI magazine or the Ringside or whatever. And I love that poster back in the day. Love the looks of this Ric Flair on the purple carding, of course. Got the blurb on the back, got the Ron Rudat sketch, got the cross sell, got all the gibber, got all the jabber as well. Ric Flair, height 6'1", 243 pounds from Charlotte, the Queen City, as it's known in some circles, North Carolina. The self-proclaimed dirtiest player in the game is a 16-time world champion. Flair is a limousine-riding, jet-flying legend with a career that spans over 50 years. Favorite quote? Woo! Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. Collect them all. And I am. So far, I have all the Zombie Sailor figures. Oh, once again, not coming off the card as clean as I'd like it to be, that's for sure. Little help with the way of the blade. Yeah, like a young Abdullah the Butcher. That's right, Todd McFarlane from the couch. Can you get that blade out there? Get Ric Flair out. And oh, we're going to be about off to the races. Maybe. There it is. See you later. Goodbye. See you later. Goodbye. Put a little spin on it. Let's get into the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. And he's got that finger pointing up right there. Oh, with a tear in my eye. He's got the one finger there. He's saying he's number one, looking good. And it is Ric Flair, no doubt about it, in the head sculpt. He's right in the midst of a woo. Got some blood going on in the hair, blood on the nose. Looking absolutely cool right there. Love the looks of Ric Flair. Body, perfect Ric Flair. We'll say once again, arms a little bit long. The arms are way longer than the legs. Looks just a little bit crazy to me, is what it is. Love the attention to detail. He has the knee pads down around the shins instead of the knees. A little attention to detail there. RF on the boots as well, looking very good. Arms all the way around for us, of course, usual articulation. Waist articulation, head back and forth, side to side. Got the RF on the trunks as well. Red, of course, one of Flair's iconic colors. Always preferred Flair in the baby blues. Also liked it when he dived into the black tights from time to time. Those always look good. Or I should say trunks from time to time. Love the looks of this one here, though. Very happy we're getting a repaint of this because, like I said, Ric Flair is on my Mount Rushmore. I love Ric Flair stuff, so I'm all in on more Ric Flair figures, and I like the little bait and switch, if that's what you want to call it, coming out with the bloody version first, then giving us the regular edition. The Major Bendies, Big Rubber guys, did something very, very similar. They came out with the announcer version, then a bloody version, now two more iconic versions, and that's the way it goes. That's business at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, does he fit on a ringside collectible stand using discount code Kyle to save 10%? What do you know? He's ready to go. He's ready to take on the Macho Man. Who knows? Maybe he's ready to take on Abdullah the Butcher. That could be quite the fight. It'd be a bloodbath. There's no doubt about it right there. So once again, purple card, Zombie Sailor Toys, latest and greatest, Nature Boy Ric Flair, Abdullah the Butcher, bloody editions. What's your guys' thoughts on these? You picking these ones up? You excited for a Pinnacle, Abby? Are you excited for the possibilities of both of these non-bloody editions? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And of course, you made it this far. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell as we got videos every single day. And then some. And dangerously close to 50,000 subscribers. If you haven't subbed yet, make sure you do. Patreon, best place to support the channel. Get early access to both YouTube channel videos. Appreciate the support over there. ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. SirPaul64 on the X. _Kyle_Peterson on Threads. And on Instagram. So for another Heels and Faces unboxing, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?
We're going to the end of the line.